A 20-year-old from South Seattle is dead tonight after he was killed in a drive-by shooting. It happened at 3:15 at the corner of 44th Avenue South and South Cloverdale in the New Holly neighborhood. King 5's Alex Rozier spoke with the man's family tonight. Alex.
Lori, good evening. Yeah, his parents told me that earlier this week they had shots fired at their house, and then earlier today they were warned that their son may be in danger because of what they called his bad friends. Hours later, just after that conversation, right at that stop sign, their son was killed. At 2 p.m., Zachariah Issa arrived at the Oromo Cultural Center for the funeral of his friend who was murdered earlier this week. While her son was at the funeral, his mother, Hooyo Soomaali, met with the Seattle Housing Authority. She said they told her son was in danger because of his bad friends.
She told me my manager house, maybe I'm your son. Maybe he died soon or get the child.
A little after 3, Zachariah left the funeral and was headed for the burial, but he only got to the corner of 44th and Cloverdale.
My kids had to see somebody dead today.
Bill Maliga was there when Zachariah was murdered.
But I heard the gunshots, and then I came out, and then there was already a crowd here. So.
Maliga wasn't the only person who heard it happen.
Say, Zachariah, what happened to you? I hear every problem you are on. Why you do that? And
after the meeting, Hooyo Soomaali was on the phone with her son when the conversation took a deadly turn.
I heard shot, and he said, and I, not from there. He didn't talk to me anymore. Maybe it's the last time.
It's the fear of every parent to pass before their kids, but tonight this crime was made worse by the fact that his mother heard her son's death happen.
I said, there's been 3 shootings around here in the last month. We're worried about our safety around here.
In the South Seattle neighborhood, people are ready for the shootings to stop, especially when the man who was killed was just leaving a funeral.
Just used to it.
As I mentioned, Zachariah was at the funeral for a friend who was murdered earlier this week in Federal Way. The obvious question now is his murder and that murder connected? We asked Seattle police that question. They told us they do not have an answer at this point. No one is in custody for this crime. If you know anything, please contact the Seattle Police's homicide unit immediately. Reporting live, I'm Alex Rozier, King 5 News.
A Kitsap County public
Events late today in southeast Seattle are shocking. A young man was killed by a gunman immediately after leaving the prayer service for his friend, who had also been shot and killed by a drive-by shooter just 37 hours before. KOMO4's Jeff Burnside spoke with the parents tonight and also with baffled and anxious members of Seattle's African community. Jeff?
Well, it has rattled what they call their tight-knit refugee community. 2 young men dead in 2 drive-by shootings in so short a time. Today's victim had a record for burglary and trespass, and tonight we're learning the house of today's victim had been shot up by at least 5 bullets last week. Baffled Seattle police canvassed the neighborhood at Cloverdale and 44th South looking for clues as to who shot and killed 20-year-old Zachariah Ibrahim Issa, who'd been in America only a few years from Nairobi. He'd answered this invitation to a prayer service at this Muslim community center to honor another drive-by shooting victim. His friend Multada Dawad just died the day before. Walking along this road 3 blocks from that prayer service, Issa was also gunned down. Immediately, members of the African community gathered, comforting the mother of the victim who stayed in the car. They say they're all anxious and confused.
They don't know what it is.
They also began gathering outside the home of the victim. His stepfather says their home was shot up with 5 bullets that peppered their wall and shattered their front window while everyone was upstairs Thursday last week. Bullets hit the neighbor's home too, he said. This woman so afraid to go on camera because they all fled to America to be safe.
I'm not, feeling safe because we came here all the way Africa to get safe. Our kids also to be safe.
And Zachariah was shot while talking with his mother.
And the last time, the last moment, the last minute, he was talking with his mom.
On the cell phone?
On the phone.
What did she hear?
She heard the shot, and he made a big sound. Ah! Then she felt that he gunned.
Well, the Seattle police had their assistant chief in charge of detectives on the scene today and their gang unit. There's no description of the gunman yet, but there is one for the gunman in the previous shooting. Black male, stocky build, dreadlocks, driving a red Impala-style Chevy. Jeff Burnside, KOMO 4 News.